Tamreen al-Tasi', everyone was supposed to have covered. Let's just very quickly um, see if we can get some reading done. I'm sure the brothers, sisters, they did the homework. So so we could get them just to read out some of their answers very quickly, just at the beginning, for this exercise over here, which is exercise Tamreen al-Tasi'. Okay, so if we could get some of you to read. So I've got Abdul Kareem, Abu Amir, Adil, Habib, Sultan, Ahmed Deen. I'm not sure if any of the rest of you would like to take the microphone. Just raise your hand, inshallah, and Asad Muzamil will give you the mic. Okay, so if you're okay with that, guys, Bismillah. Just they want you to use lam at-ta'lil to answer these questions. Lima dakhaltumul mat'ama. Lima dakhaltumul mat'ama. Why did you go into the restaurant? Why did you go in? So, what would the answer be? Can someone answer that for us?
دخلنا مطعم لنشرب شاي.
Barakallahu feek. Or just لنشرب. You can say that.
Okay.
دخلناه لنشرب. As you said, maybe a shaya. You can say that. So let's just get that writing tool over here. Yeah. دخلناه. Let's have a better attempt. دخلناه لنشرب. لنشرب الشاي. طيب. Who was that, please?
Habib.
That was Habib. طيب. Who's taking the mic next? Who's next on the list? Fadal. Number 2, please. So that could be Abdul Kareem. Are you okay with number 2?
I haven't written this. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. You can just.
But I can try. Lam kharajta minal madrasati.
Not going to be lam. It's going to be lima.
Lima. Yeah, lima kharajat minal madrasati. The answer would be
لما خرجت من المدرسة. So the question is to you. So the answer is going to be
kharajta.
no خرجت. خرجت.
Kharajtu. Yeah. Kharajtu. La ash.
من المدرسة or منها.
منها.
منها or من المدرسة.
أشترى.
لأشتري.
Okay. لأشتري.
Because that lam التعليل. Okay,
okay.
lam التعليل is going to come before a verb, a fi'l, and it's going to come before a fi'l مضارع. فعل مضارع is ordinarily مرفوع which has a dhamma on it in, in normal terms, in regular terms. And lam ta'leel is going to cause it to become mansoob.
Mansub, yeah.
So it will become li'ashtariya. Li'ashtariya. And why did you leave the school? What did you want to buy? Li'ashtariya what? A pen, maybe?
Al-Khalam. Al-Khalama.
Al-qalama. Or you can say qalaman,
Khalama.
a pen.
Yeah.
Yeah? Abu Amir, are you okay with number 3? Jazakallah khair, Abu Kareem, barakallahu feek.
Okay.
I'll try. When I didn't do that.
Lima dhahabta. So just it's just as encouragement and as a reminder also, it is very important in order to benefit from these books and from these lessons, really very important to write down all the exercises after. Even if, for example, the instructor or teacher doesn't specify to do any specific homework, it's really, I would say it's vital. Yeah, it's vital in order for you to benefit from it, to consolidate those rules, to recall them, to remember them, recap them, to do the exercises, not just orally, but written. Okay, so I would stress on that. We've been stressing on that from the beginning. Alhamdulillah, got good response. People are doing the work, they're writing things out. And you know, I'm not sure currently if I think the Google Classroom is still active, but even if it isn't, you go ahead and do the work by yourself, self-study, you know, and make this your deadline. Make the following class the deadline so that you know you have a deadline to work towards.
Okay.
No problem. لما ذهبت
لما ذهبت إلى قريتك يوم الجمعة؟
Okay.
ذهبت إلى قريتك.
Why did you go to your village? I went to your village. No.
Sorry. قريتي لي أزور. Sorry, I don't know the meaning of أزور.
Zara yazuru means to visit.
زار visit. Okay. ذهبت لقريتي لي
Azura.
أزور
أحسنت.
أمي.
أحسنت. أزور أمي.
جزاك الله.
بارك الله فيك.
وفيكم.
تفضل يا أخي عادل. رقم 4.
لما ذهبتن إلى المكتبة يا أخوات؟ ذهبنا إلى المكتبة لنقرأ الصحف.
So this is plural and feminine. Yeah? Like this?
Yes.
Sure?
No, ذهبنا.
أيوة بارك الله فيك.
Because that is متكلم.
Exactly. I was testing you. Alhamdulillah. You passed the test.
جزاك الله خير.
Because people get confused. They say the habna because they say the habtunna. This is mu'annath. It's jam'. Must be the habna. But the habna is hunna the habna. No, antunna, no, nahnu. Antunna the habtunna. Yeah, so the answer, because it's a muqatab, so the answer is going to be ذهبنا إلى المكتبة أو إليها. Yeah. What was the answer?
لنقرأ
Yeah.
صحفا.
جيد. لنقرأ صحفا. طيب. That's fine. Let's keep moving, inshallah. جزاكم خيرا.
زدنا إليها
نعم. Who is it? Abdullah or Habib? Is it Abdullah? I think I'm sharing it in the wrong format today. Let me just reshare the screen. Okay, so these answers are going to come up in a second. Stop share. Share screen. Type. I want to very quickly just remind ourselves of what we were doing last lesson, and that was the introduction of an al-masdariya or an al-nasiba. And this an, how do we use it? We use it when we are joining two verbs together. Most often this is common usage of an al-nasiba or an al-masdariya. An al-masdariya. Okay, and you will learn later or very soon why it's called an al-masdariya, and that's coming inshallah. And see, well, yeah. One. And that was basically when you've got two verbs joining together. So for example, أريد يا عادل ماذا تريد؟ If I say to you ماذا تريد, it means what do you want, right? You could say anything to me. You could say أريد شوكولاتة. I want a chocolate. I want some chocolate. أريد قلما. I want a pen. أليس كذلك? You could say it. You could use it now immediately, and then you'll be مفعول به منصوب. But if the answer you give is an action, I mean a verb, فعل. So for example, you want to go to Mecca. أريد, are you going to say أريد مكة? Maybe. But what you're likely to say is أريد, and you want to say basically أذهب إلى مكة. Everyone is missing Mecca. We want to go there. جيد. أريد, and then what you actually want is أذهب إلى مكة. Now because here's a verb and here's a verb, joining them together, it cannot be just automatic like that, just without any linking word. So أحسنت أخي زيد. So you say, and this is where you use an al-nasiba or an al-masdariya. Okay, and an al-masdariya or nasiba, it will turn this verb over here to mansub. Then you will say أريد أن أذهب إلى مكة. أريد أن أذهب إلى مكة. Okay, جيد. Now previously you learned that al-fi'l is either مبني, as in the case of fi'l madi, for example, or even fi'l mudari' that has noon and niswa on it, yeah, or noon and niswa on fi'l mudari'. And it can also be mu'rab basically means that the end of the word changes. End of the word in fi'l madi in the mabni doesn't change. Dhahaba, jalasa, kharaja. It's always going to be mabni ala al-fatha. And sometimes it's going to be mabni ala sukoon. Dhahab, dhahabtu. Yeah. And sometimes it will be mabni on ala dhamma. Dhahabu. I'm going to go off screen. Dhahab. So where to drag that up? I think I can select. Nope. Oops. It's all going wrong. Get back to my pen. It's fun when teacher's pen goes mad, Zayda. So back to where we were, dhahaba. Let's take this example. So sometimes it can be mabni ala dhamma. Dhahabu. Okay. There's dhamma is on the waw, on the ba. Yeah, on the lam of the fi'l. The last letter, dhahabu. And noon and niswa, for example. Yajlisna. Yajlisna. Hunna yajlisna. When it comes to mu'rab, the fi'l mudari, al-mudari, which doesn't have noon and niswa on it, is mu'rab. And it is always going to be, or ordinarily is going to be marfu'. The asl is that it's marfu'. Okay? And fi'l al-amr, because these are your three verbs, your fi'l madi, your fi'l mudari, your fi'l amr. Yeah? This is going to be majzoom. In actual fact, the fi'l mudari can also be majzoom, as you have seen. How does fi'l mudari become majzoom? Anyone remember? So the asl in fi'l mudari is that it's marfu'. You say
لا
أذهب.
لا تجعل لا
أحسن. So لا الناهية. Yeah. لا تجلس هنا. لا تجعل مع الله إلها آخر. لا تشرك بالله إن الشرك لظلم عظيم. Yeah, so this is all of these fi'l mudari came after, as you rightly mentioned, Muzammil, is after the lam al-nahiya turns the fi'l mudari into majzoom. And then we learned last lesson that it can also be mansoob. And that is with an nasiba, for example. And also we learned that there are 4 ways to make it mansoob. You remember what they were? One of them is an nasiba. Another one?
Kai. Kai.
Ahsant. K.
Lan,
Lan, and one more.
Izan.
Ahsant. Idhan. These are the only 4 that will affect the fi'l mudari that comes after it and turn it into mansoob. So then the question asks, the question begs itself. So why did we just have the exercise where we said li azura ummi and li ashtariya kalaman? So this lam is not in this 4, lam of ta'leel. So why is the word fi'l azura, why is it mansoob?
Because un mudumaratu.
Barakallahu feek. So basically, lam, it comes with an, but an is hidden. So it's called an al-mudmara, a hidden an. It's mansoob بأن المضمرة, the hidden أن. So basically, لأن أزور, لأن أشتري قلما. Okay, that's basically what it is. And sometimes an can be used, it can be visible, sometimes it can be removed. And there are examples of that, like even in the Quran, and we looked at those examples. Okay, so what I want to take your memory back to is that the علامات الإعراب علامات الإعراب, they are either going to be أصلية, the main ordinary ways of showing إعراب, and that is either going to be with ضمة, فتحة, سكون. Okay, and this is basically for verbs. Why didn't I not mention kasra here? Because kasra is specifically for nouns. Okay, and then you have far'iyya, which is the secondary ways of showing i'rab. Okay, and basically this is when you have verbs like here's an example. Let's have a look at an example here. هؤلاء يذهبون إلى المدينة. This group of people, or these people, are going to Medina. Okay, so فعل يذهبون. What type of فعل is it? ماضي or مضارع?
مضارع.
فعل مضارع. فعل مضارع, the أصل of إعراب in فعل مضارع, what is it? Is it مرفوع, منصوب, or مجزوم?
مرفوع.
It's always going to be مرفوع. That's the beginning. Okay. So here, what is the علامة الرفع?
Presence of noon.
بارك الله فيك. It is this ثبوت النون or وجود النون. Okay, وجود النون. That is what makes it مرفوع. We know this is مرفوع because there is a noon there, يذهبون. And also in the example أأنتم تذهبون إلى المدينة. أأنتم تذهبون إلى المدينة. Again, over here, noon is the alama, is the sign of marfu'. Now, if someone says La, say don't go. La tadhhabu. Don't go this weekend to Medina because I want to go with you next weekend. So, what is he going to say? La tadhhabuna, or what does he say? How should it be? Is it tadhhabuna or is it? Or tadhhab with a sukoon?
تذهبوا. Without noon.
Exactly. So the noon is what gets wiped away. So it becomes la تذهبوا لا تذهبوا هذا الأسبوع هذا الأسبوع لا تذهبوا هذا الأسبوع. So تذهبوا, what is the i'rab of تذهبوا? لا تذهبوا. Is it مرفوع, منصوب, or مجزوم?
مجزوم.
It is مجزوم because just like فعل أمر is مجزوم, the فعل مضارع after لا الناهية, lam of prohibition, is also مجزوم. So what is the علامة الجزم? What is the sign of it being مجزوم?
Absence of the noon.
أحسنت أخي حبيب. حذف النون, the removal of the noon or the absence of the noon. Okay, so in the case of تذهبون, this was مرفوع with the presence of the noon. Here, noon has been taken away as an indication that this fi'l is مجزوم. لا تذهبوا. Okay, لا تذهبوا. جيد. So in these examples of فرعية, I showed you مرفوع, and I showed you مجزوم. This is revision from before. So what's left?
منصوب.
منصوب. So as I was saying before, this in normal terms, marfu will be with dhamma, mansoob will be with fatha, and majzoom will be with sukoon. This is when you have the fi'l mudari in the normal way. Nadhabu. Yeah. أريد أن أذهب. And لا تذهب. Again, running out of space at the bottom. لا تذهب. Yeah. So here you have three examples: marfu, mansoob, and majzoom. In this case, it's marfu bi thubut al-noon, majzoom bi hadf al-noon, and the alif is there just as a indication that the verb has finished, so the next doesn't get mixed up with the next word. Okay, so but there's no noon there. So we're left with mansoob, and mansoob is actually has the same alamatul i'rab as majzoom, is hadf an-noon. So let's change the color, make it clearer. أتريدون أن تذهب, what should it be? إلى المدينة. Can someone give me the answer to that, please? What should be written there? تذهب what? تذهب, تذهب, تذهبوا, تذهبون. أتريدون, do you want to go to Medina? Talking to a group of people. Brother Habib.
تذهبوا
So basically, this is mansub وعلامة نسبه حذف النون, same as majzoom. Okay, and we know that this is mansub because of an. Okay, an tadhhabu. And you know that there are 5 verbs that follow this pattern. Is تذهبون, يذهبون, تذهبين. What are the other 2?
يذهبان تذهبان.
أيوة بارك الله فيك. Which is muthanna. Well, we haven't done that yet, so we'll leave that. So there are 5 verbs that follow this pattern. 3 of them, they look like what we have studied. المضارع for جمع. تذهبون, يذهبون, تذهبين. These verbs, all of them are marfu' with thubut and nun. So if you were to make it majzoom, you would say لا تذهبوا, and you take out that nun. Okay, and you want to say to a female, لا تذهبي, take out the nun. This becomes majzoom. Okay, and now you also know that if you have an before it, and this will have the same, it will have the same look. أن تذهبوا, أن يذهبوا, أن تذهبي. It will have the same look, but in this case it is majzoom, and in this case it will be mansoob. So I just wanted to kind of like give almost most of that was I think is revision, done it before, and it was leading to this last page over here, basically, of showing how hadf noon, this last page on the previous, under the previous page, how hadf noon is the alama far'iyya of mansoob. Okay, and that's what's coming in, and that's Athamin Ashar. Okay, let's stop sharing this screen. Let's go back to where we were over there. Afwan, the dal in the last 2 words looks like a zai. No, Afwan, I have no excuse for poor handwriting. I think I do have an excuse. It's this electronic age. I was not born in it. So, have to excuse me. Inshallah, you guys will take the baton from me and you become the best teachers and handwriters, inshallah, on screen. You say, I learned how to write by not
Ustad, I have a suggestion.
by not copying my teacher.
Ustad, you can use iPad for writing, I guess. It would be better instead of
iPad.
mouse. If you can use your finger to write, it will be more
Okay.
easy. You can see a beautiful.
You'll be surprised. I'm actually using a pen and a tablet writing tool.
Okay.
Actually, I don't have any
Okay.
excuse.
Okay.
Hey,
There is
Lama,
something using mouse. That is what I was saying.
Yeah, the beginning, the first number of lessons, it was with mouse. That was like a terrible experience for everyone,
Okay.
me and for everyone else. Anyway, let's keep going over
Okay.
here where we were. So then you have Lama Ta'leel. We finished it. That was a quick revision session for Lama Ta'leel. And then Aywa. يمكنك, this is important. Okay. لا يمكنك, يمكن basically means it's possible. Possible or not possible. لا يمكنك أن تجلس هنا. هذا مقعد عثمان. It's not possible for you to sit here. This is Uthman's place. جيد. And you can say, you don't have to say the kaf. You can say لا يمكن أن تجلس هنا. You don't have to say لا يمكنك أن تجلس هنا. You don't have to say that. Because this ta over here, this will be sufficient as an indicator of what you mean when you say لا يمكن. So يمكنك أن تخرج من الفصل. You can leave the class. الآن. You can also say يمكن أن تخرج من الفصل. You can say that. Because of this ta, it's obvious who you are addressing and who you're talking to. Okay? يمكنك الخروج من الفصل. What's the difference of this sentence here and the previous one, previous example? Previous one said يمكنك أن تخرج من الفصل. This one said يمكنك الخروج من الفصل. Yeah.
خروج is مصدر.
نعم.
خروج is the مصدر.
أحسنت. خروج is مصدر. So, is there a difference in meaning of these two sentences? Or are they actually the same?
They're the same meaning.
The meaning is actually the same. أحسنت زيد. And this is the reason why this an is called an al-masdariyah. Because an and its verb is the same as the masdar itself. Meaning the meaning is the same as the masdar. An takhruja, the meaning of an takhruja is al-khuruju. Al-tajlisa, al-julusu. Okay? And I think there's going to be more like extensive introduction to that idea later on. But that is just a quick indication of an al-masdariyah and how it works. Abi maridun. Back to that square. Abi maridun. لا يمكنه أن يذهب إلى المصنع. It's not possible for him to go to the factory. لا يمكنه, and you can say لا يمكن أن يذهب إلى المصنع. It doesn't have to be يمكنه. جيد. Let's have a look at the word منذ. Since وهو من حروف الجر ما رأيت محمدا منذ يوم الجمعة. I haven't seen Muhammad since Friday, since last Friday. هو غائب منذ أسبوع. He's been away for a week. نسكن في هذا البيت منذ سنة. We've lived in this house for a year. Adil, can you translate this for me, please? هو مريض منذ رجوعه من بلده.
He is sick since return from his home country.
His home country. So he has been sick ever since he returned from his country. And someone can translate that, please. أعرف هذا الشيخ منذ 5 سنوات. Who's going to take it?
I have known the Sheikh
Brother
for
Zaid.
5 years.
Again, please. Can you raise your voice? Your microphone's very low, Zaid.
I have known the Sheikh for 5 years.
I have known this sheikh for 5 years. Well done. Ahsan. Barakallah feek. طيب.
Ustad, the meaning of Arifu is
أعرف means I know.
I know.
I have known.
Okay, I thought it's a name over here.
Oh, I
Noun.
see it. Oh, it's a common name, right?
Yeah.
In actual fact, the common name is not أعرف. It's like this. It's the name which is common amongst people is عارف. عارف. Okay, which means somebody who knows. Somebody who knows. Somebody who has معرفة. Okay. The word that we see here is the verb فعل مضارع أعرف. Do you know anyone who's called أعرف? Or Abdul Karim? Or do you know someone with the name عارف?
Arif we have, right? Like so. That's what I
Arif.
thought. Yeah.
It's probably going to be this one here.
Okay.
عارف. طيب. Let's have a look at this. تأمل ما يلي. Oh, sorry. Looking at the box. هو يرى. أنت ترى. أنا أرى. نحن نرى. All of these 4 verbs. What type of فعل are they?
فعل مضارع.
All of them are فعل مضارع. See, the confusion comes in because there are only 3 letters over there. And basically, the fi'l madi of this verb is ra'a. So then the fi'l mudari should be yar'a. Yeah. And because of this hamza and this ya, yar'a, the Arabs, they made it light, and they directly kind of joined them together and took the hamza away. They said yara. So the origin of this word here is yar'a, and this one tar'a, this one ar'a, and this one nar'a. We don't say that, we don't pronounce that hamza in the middle. Okay, so ara, what does it mean?
See.
See.
To see, yes, I can see.
Yeah.
So the exercise over here would be, for example, in the classroom, and the teacher would show some items to the students, and he would say to them, "Mada tara?" What do you see on the table, for example? The student would say, "Ara qalaman wa kitaban." I can see a pen, I can see a book, so on and so forth. Let's go to Tamreen al-Thalith Ashar. These are all words that were in the dialogue. So we have this word, and tasmaha. Okay. And tasmaha or as-samah, it means to allow or to give permission. So when he said, Arju an tasmaha li bil julusi huna, it's like he's saying, I hope you can give me permission, or I request you to give me permission to sit here.
I think the phrase "law samah" is very common, isn't it, Ustad?
Barakallahu feek. Exactly. So, and low samah basically is a it's like saying please.
Mhm.
That's basically, so this verb is from samiha, samaha, afwan, samaha, yasmahu. Samaha yasmahu. So when they say low samahta, low samahta.
Mhm.
It's like they're saying, excuse me, or please. Low samahta basically is either a way of saying excuse me, or it's another way of saying please. There's no, I think, possibly no direct equivalent, but there are, depending on the context, it's used to either mean excuse me, or to please, or to say please, or so on and so on. So
You know, Ustad, even the phrase "samahat al-sheikh." So
yes,
is it linked with this? I'm assuming
yes,
it is.
Yes, it is. So samahat al-sheikh basically, I'm not sure how that's translated, to be honest.
Mhm.
Honorable sheikh, but you can see that the word samah, samahat al-sheikh, or tasmah li, or lo samah, all of the use of this word is a very polite word.
Mhm.
A lot of this, I'm not sure, like kindness involved in that word.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's a very, very polite word to be.
Mhm.
Here we have fusul as-sana. Fusul as-sana. Okay. Now, you know that the word fasl, you've used it all this time to mean classroom. Al-fasl. But fasl also means season. So you say fasl ash-shita, which is, you're going to be literal about it. You say the winter season. But we say winter. Fasl al-rabi', spring. Fasl al-sayf. So mudaf and mudaf ilayhi. Fasl al-sayfi, summer. Fasl al-kharifi, this is autumn. Not to upset my brothers over the Atlantic, but yeah, we do call it autumn, they call it fall. Because leaves do fall at that time. Kharif.
Oh, that's never realized that was the reason the name was given. But yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Anyway, let's not open that door to us. Possible to make jokes over here, but we shouldn't. Light-hearted jokes, my brothers. Okay. With regards to this word kharif, this is the same word that you find in that hadith. Man sama yawman fi sabilillahi ba'ada Allahu wajhahu 'anil nari وجهه عن النار 70 خريفا. Whoever fasts one day for the sake of Allah, Allah will remove his face from the fire the distance of 70 kharif. 70 kharifan. So it only occurs once in a year, obviously, every year. So it's another way of saying 70 years. This is the translation that you commonly hear. And I did recently hear one of the mashayikh in the West translating it as 70 autumns. Then we have الكلمات الجديدة. زار يزور زيارة. زيارة here. This is the masdar. This is the noun that belongs to this verb. بدأ يبدأ بدءا. So بدءا means the beginning. This is the masdar of بدأ يبدأ. Don't get mixed up with بدءا and بدعا with ain. Yeah, because people can get mixed up with this word sometimes. سمح يسمح سماحا. A permission. Samahan, this is a masdar. Okay. Basaka yabsuku, this means to spit. To spit. Basaka yabsuku. And this occurs in one hadith that the Prophet ﷺ, he forbade that a person should spit in the direction of the Qibla. He said, فَلْيَبْصُقْ عَنْ يَسَارِهِ أَوْ تَحْتَ قَدَمِهِ. Or كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. Or as the Prophet ﷺ. Just realize that the time is pushing on and it's time for Salat al-Isha here in Jeddah. So we'll stop there. But in the next lesson, we'll start with Dars al-Thamin Ashar. I gave you guys the introduction to this lesson, and you will see and tadhabi is there. This is mansoob wa alamatu nasbihi hadf an-nun. That's basically a big part of the lesson is related around to this. That's going to be Yawm al-Ithnain in Monday, inshallah. Monday is going to be the again, we'll start at 7:15 or maybe 5 minutes earlier, 7:10. But by next Thursday, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, we'll come back to all the way back to 7 o'clock. Okay, same time. So Isha comes early, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. They will stop there, inshallah. Wallahu a'lam. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله
عليكم
وبركاته.
السلام ورحمة الله. جزاك الله خير.
جزاك الله خير أستاذ.